And we had the drag queens were staying with us here in the hotel. We were doing the meet and greet here. And I hadn't quite, doing the sort of PR all around this, I hadn't quite reckoned on how popular drag queens are. So we had quite a few people here in the lobby. And it was on the same day that we had a naval reunion.
Welcome to Portsmouth's Inspirational Women of Portsmouth podcast. I am Shamila Dhana, co-founder of Portsmouth City of Sanctuary. Portsmouth means together, and we bring together Portsmouth and the surrounding areas, celebrating the women who positively impact their tribe and contribute to their community. We hope you enjoy the series of podcasts, which introduces some of the nominees and sponsors to this year's event. In today's podcast, we are speaking with the fantastic and fabulous Kate Pearce, who has been nominated for a Portsmouth Inspiration Award. And Kate, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'm just going to read out what someone has written about you when they nominated you.
I will be blushing.
Okay, so Kate Pearce, in her role as Head of Communications and Connections at the Queen's Hotel and Business South, Kate has enabled so many local community groups, creatives, and business people to flourish. Her warmth and passion for lifting other women up is infectious. She's a force for good in the city, taking a leading role in regeneration work, welcoming visitors from cruise ships and celebrating our community through her brilliant journalism. Her generosity with her time and expertise make her a true inspiration.
Oh my word.
Amazing.
It's too much, isn't it?
Welcome.
I won't be able to get my head out of the
force
room.
To be reckoned with.
I just thought I was doing stuff, it's just my job. But no, it's so nice to be recognised. It is nice. It's a bit embarrassing, really. But
no, please embrace it. Embrace it, because people see you. And they can see the impact that you're having.
That's so lovely. No, it is. It's lovely. When I do know who nominated me, and when she told me, it was like, it's such a nice thing to do for another person, isn't it?
It is. And how long have you worked at the Queen's for?
So I have been here telling the story of the Queen since 2017, when the new owners came in.
Yes.
And originally I came in and I did a story with South Sea Lifestyle magazine. And the owners liked that story so much that they tracked me down and said, come and do that on a more permanent basis. So that's what I've been doing. And alongside doing that communications work, I'm also sort of out and about in the city, creating partnerships, sort of business partnerships, and also with the community as well. That's, it's been a wonderful role, really, and it's one that I've been able to sort of, shape as we've gone along. But,
I've seen a lot of stuff that Queen's Hotel are doing with the community. I thought that's fantastic.
Yes, and with Portsmouth Pride, we're the hotel for Portsmouth Pride, and helped them, and supported them through their application to be the City of Pride in 2025. And we just love reaching out and working with people, where we can. Yes. Prior to starting the podcast, we were talking about Becky at Spark. And at the end of last year, we did a fantastic thing with the King's Theatre, so that was Kings of the Queens. And that had been, Julia does the PR at the theatre, had been talking about that for a couple of years. So it's taken a little while to make it happen. But, when you want something to be, you get over those obstacles, don't you?
Yes.
So, and honestly,
and
it was the
drives
best.
That,
It was the best evening. It was so fantastic.
I've seen it on social media.
Yeah, joyful. Joyful. It really was.
Celebrities, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we had the cast of the panto there, and it was the whole cast. So it was a chance for the ones in the sort of smaller roles maybe to sort of shine on the night, along with the main stars there. But it was wonderful.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
so is
really
your vision to reach more communities in the city?
Yes, I mean we basically we're happy to work with anybody. You know, if they can approach us and you know, and if we can do something with them, then we will. You know, and we've got the space here to do you know, so big events. We've got the garden as well. Yes. So yeah, and it's just a matter of, you know, making sure that sort of works. With the facilities that we've got here, but yeah, we're very keen to work with the community. It was funny, sort of obviously with the timings of when I sort of started working with the Queens, we very soon went into all the sort of lockdown stuff. Yes. And with the first lockdown that happened, we had frontline people from the NHS staying here, so we had nurses. And that was incredible, really, and hearing their stories about how what a place of solace this was after a really difficult time, wasn't it, in that first lockdown. And we were our kitchen team were creating 600 meals a week for the community, for vulnerable people, you know, wanting to do reach out and be part of that, because it was such a strange time for all of us, really, wasn't it? Yes. So yeah, to be involved like that. But I've still got something that one of the nurses wrote to us afterwards, saying how much it meant to her. You know, yeah, it was amazing. And lovely Megan, who works for us here, she thought it would be nice for them to have like a goodie bag when they came back from work, and so she went round to all the local businesses and got them to donate stuff, and you know, they're real caring. And that was sort of the start of us sort of portraying ourselves, if you like, or marketing ourselves as at the heart of Southsea. Yes. And it really is, with that sort of compassion and feeling for the community, really. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And have you lived in Portsmouth all your life?
I haven't, but I've had a connection here. Both sets of my grandparents were from Southsea. My granny lived in Eastney, Ringwood Road in Eastney, and my nan in Granada Road. So, yes, so yeah, I've always known it, and I've been here 20 years now. So yeah.
Do you like it?
I love it. I'm settling in.
I love it too. Love the seaside. I think once you're here and settled, it's very hard to go.
Oh, it's amazing. And I think you're either a sort of a coastal person or a countryside person, aren't you? And I'm very much a coastal person. Yes, I was born in Weymouth, and I've just moved up and down the coast, really. So yeah, I love it. I really do. And again, during the lockdown and everything, that, you know, being able to get out there and walk on the beach was
it was amazing,
wasn't it? Yeah. And I love the creativity here. I love the art. I love. Yeah, it's a cool place to be, isn't it?
And now you're part of this bigger Ubuntu family. That's what Ubuntu is. I am, because you are.
Yeah.
And now you're part of all these amazing women that have been nominated.
They are fantastic, aren't they?
They so are. And it's so important to be celebrated.
Yeah, definitely.
So important to be seen. And I know most of us don't do what we do and get out of bed for the recognition. You do because you're passionate about it. Yeah. But it is nice to be recognised.
And that's what makes this even more sort of humbling, really, isn't it? That somebody has, you know, seen what you're doing and thinks it's worthy, and I think it's lovely. But it's, you know, it's across such a wide spectrum, isn't it?
Yes.
And I was hearing there's like 110 nominations, haven't you? I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Fantastic, I love it. Yeah. Across all the categories,
Yeah.
And every year, and I said it in the previous podcast, I always think, will they find women?
Yeah.
Like, the ones last year were amazing. And then I do the podcast and I'm like, wow.
Where are these other women? Oh,
everybody's so amazing.
Oh, it's so cool.
And there's power in just coming together.
Yeah.
And will you be attending the award ceremony?
I will be. And with some of the team here as well. And we went last year. Was it like? Yeah, it was last year.
Last year was amazing, right?
Yes, it was. And just the dance and the theatricality of the whole thing. Fabulous.
It was so good.
Positive, really positive, lovely evening, isn't it?
Yeah, filled with tears.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I think it's, it's amazing.
And who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Oh, golly, that's a difficult question,
isn't it? Right?
Yeah. I think it is the people who are, you know, just doing the do, really, isn't it? Yeah. You know, who you sort of take for granted, and And I think one of the great things really with the whole lockdown and all of that, sorry, I seem a bit locked in on the lockdown, don't I? But it was a great thing for making us really appreciate people, wasn't it?
Yes.
You know, you people working in the shops and, you know, obviously the medical people, but it's that the backbone, isn't it? The backbone of the country, really, that you think, well, without them. And it's one of the things I've sort of learnt from working in the hotel. It's interesting. The owners came in and they've spent, you know, millions, so 5 million plus on making the building beautiful again, bringing her back to her former glory. But a hotel is about so much more than just a building. It's the people who are working here, and it's the team. Yes. And every function of that has to work properly. I respond to the reviews for the hotel, so I get, I'm feeling the pulse really of what's happening here, and it's so interesting. So if the pot washer's having a bad day, that does,
it trickles down.
It does, and so everybody has, within their area of the hotel, has to feel part of that team, don't they? Yes. And that it's what they're doing is important. And it is literally the people doing the washing up, the women, predominantly women who are, sorting the rooms out upstairs.
It's so important.
All of it is critical.
It's critical,
yeah. And the welcome that you get when you walk in, and making sure everything's clean, and and the food is cooked properly. All of those elements together, and then that it's served as well. So so it has given me a greater appreciation of that whole team thing. It's writ large here.
And the unsung heroes.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah. The guy who's doing the washing up is just as important as the general manager, isn't he?
Exactly.
If not more in some.
Exactly.
Paul will love me for saying that.
Exactly. And how each of us are important. We all are important. Yeah. It's so humbling, isn't it?
It is.
When you view another human being as that and give them their space to be valued as an important person. Yes. Whether you're a pot washer.
And seeing people progress, if they want to, through an organisation as well.
That's
so that
amazing.
Something is seen in them and you think, oh yes, actually, you could be the restaurant manager or front of house manager. Or,
Yes. And any memorable moments for you working here or in your life?
One of the best days was the first Pride that... which was when it was sort of coming together again after the lockdown, and we were opening our garden for the first time, and it was there were a few bits that still needed finishing with that, but we were determined to have it open for all that day. And as it was, the weather was beautiful, wasn't it? It was a really gorgeous day, and we had the drag queens were staying with us here in the hotel. We were doing the meet and greet here, and I hadn't quite, doing the sort of PR all around this, I hadn't quite reckoned on how popular drag queens are. So we had quite a few people here in the lobby, and it was on the same day that we had a naval reunion. So we had all these sort of salty old sea dogs sort of crossing across the lobby, drag queens. And in the middle of it, we also had, in another room, the Pearce Society of Great Britain, the Peer Appreciation Society. Yes.
Wow.
And the patrons of that is Prunella Scales and Timothy West, the actors. So in the midst of all this craziness in the lobby, we've got Prunella and her husband walking through all this. I just thought, my work is done, really.
Your work is done. Amazing. Amazing. It can't be rewritten.
No.
It can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see that your job brings you so much of joy.
Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies?
I do. I like to write. I'm sort of fledgling in starting to do. I've just bought a sewing machine, so I'm wanting to do a little bit more sewing. I like doing arty things.
Yes.
But it's having the time, isn't it? It's I wish I had more of that, really. But
but they're the good hobbies. Writing is good. Do you write books or poems?
I have written books. I've written a couple of books. I wrote one about D-Day, which was about Fareham. So it was based on Fareham and looking at the home front And so I got to interview. So this was Fair MD Day this was the 50th anniversary. So we're just coming up to the 80th anniversary.
Yes.
So I wrote this quite a while ago. But it was just the best project. I just loved it. Going and meeting all these people who, again, it's that whole thing of, people who were doing, I don't know, they were the women who were working in the factories. There were air raid wardens, all of these people who had important roles, to keep day-to-day life going. And they were working, the hours these women were doing in the munitions factories was just phenomenal, with a fear always in their heart that, their loved one may never come back. And I met women who 50 years on talked about these boyfriends who had gone over. There was one who was a radio operator, and he went over on D-Day, and he basically never got off the beach the other end. The radio weighed a ton, and when he went into the water with that, and he never came back. And this woman, 50 years on, she'd gone on, she'd had married, she'd had a family, but tears for this boy who she'd loved. And you just think, those stories really affect you, don't they? I think it's and it was I was humbled really by being able to go and collect those stories and share those, and and here we are, just about to celebrate 80 years on, aren't we? And sadly, fewer and fewer of those servicemen are with us. But it's so important for us to remember that history.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the other book I wrote was about allotments.
Okay.
So I've got an allotment with my partner Paul. But
Amazing. Thank you so much. Once again, congratulations for your nomination.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me on the podcast.
No, it's been lovely. Lovely chat.
Oh, thank you. And hopefully see you at the awards ceremony.
Yeah, I hope so.
And keep shining bright and shining the light for Queens. It's so needed. It's so needed. We should all establishments should be inclusive and welcoming.
Yes.
And it's the community around that will lift up the Queens.
Definitely.
And we're so incredibly proud and grateful of everything you do. And for all the teams listening from the Queens, we're incredibly grateful to everyone, from the pot washer to the manager.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
a hotel is about so much more than just a building. It's the people who are working here, and it's the team.
Yes.
And every function of that has to work properly. I respond to the reviews for the hotel, so I get, I'm feeling the pulse really of what's happening here, and it's so interesting. So if the pot washer's having a bad day, that does,
it trickles down.
It does. And so everybody has, within their area of the hotel, has to feel part of that team, don't they?
Yes.
And that it's what they're doing is important. And it is literally the people doing the washing up, the women, predominantly women who are, sorting the rooms out upstairs.
It's so important.
All of it is critical.
It's critical,
yeah. And the welcome that you get when you walk in, and making sure everything's clean, and and the food is cooked properly. All of those elements together, and then that it's served as well. So so it has given me a greater appreciation of that whole team thing. It's writ large here.
And the unsung heroes.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah. The guy who's doing the washing up is just as important as the general manager, isn't he?
Exactly.
If not more in some.
Exactly.
Paul will love me for saying that.
Exactly. And how each of us are important. We all are important.
Yeah.
It's so humbling, isn't it?
It is.
When you view another human being as that and give them their space to be valued as an important person.
Yes.
Whether you're pot
and
washer
seeing people progress if they want to through an organisation as well.
That's
so that
amazing.
something is seen in them and you think, oh yes, actually, you could be the restaurant manager or front of house manager. Or,
Yes. And any memorable moments for you working here or in your life?
One of the best days was the first Pride that which was when it was sort of coming together again after the lockdown, and we were opening our garden for the first time, and that was it was there were a few bits that